Well, we'll be switching platforms, so it's not going to matter anymore. But you can do the intro video. So the entire lazy version with the pre-roll the video that has the intro, same with an
Right.
outro. So
Yeah.
it's like you just downloaded it. It is cut live. It's like, whatever happened, if the video rolled, whatever happens now, it doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. We're gonna release it.
That's right. We're just showing the non-edited version to everyone.
Suppose they could find it. There's very few cuts we've ever made. I think there's a couple. I think there's somewhere like there's like some story. It's just like, all right, that was boring as heck. Like I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or I think I mentioned
Not
something about
today.
Work. Yeah, not never again. So I think we've been pretty good about complete lack of editing. Oh, you know what? Damn it! You know what? We started last show talking about editing, making jokes about editing, and here we are again a second time.
It's the same dad move where you're like, what did we talk about?
The same stories, the same jokes ad nauseum, till everyone listening to them can repeat them back to you. All right, but we're live across the channels. Let's get this show started because we are live. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old.
So this is one of the greatest times of year for me because I think I've mentioned it before on the show, but I'm doing the advent calendar of beers.
Yes.
It's so great. I'm telling you, like October was rolling around and it just started to percolate in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, December is going to be great. This is so nice. And so every day and again, it's one of those things that in future for next December, gaming dads, like if you do partake in a beverage, look around. There's kind of advent calendars for everything now. I have noticed.
Yeah.
There's chocolate, there's scotch and whiskey, there's tea, there's coffee. Like you can, the coffee one, there's an interesting one too that I'd seen. But basically,
there's Pokemon cards too. Just putting that out there for adults or kids. There's Pokemon cards.
Yeah, nice save.
Yeah,
for kids too. But so how does that work? Like it's just a calendar that you open up every day and it's a pack?
It's a pack a day, yeah.
Wow.
A pack a day. It sounds like cigarettes, but it's really just addictive card games.
Now, what is the monetary value? Is it less than if you just purchased 25 packs, do you think? Or did they kind of pump it up a bit?
I think my kids would weigh in here saying that they aren't going to show good cards, right? Like the chances of you getting the rare cards are very minimal. So is it an investment or is it not? My kids would say no.
Yeah. Tell you what, we do have to hit I want to hit the to play Gaming Dad Bingo. I want to hit our tagline. Remember, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.
Hey, way too late, but we're still going to make it in there. The thing I want to mention, so there was a card and game store. There's actually been 2 that's opened up in our area. So this continues to be something that seems to flourish. So within like a reasonable walking distance, there's 2. We went to the one, nice family-owned shop, lovable guy. They're doing events every couple nights. So this night is board game night, and this game is Pokemon night. This night is da-da-da. The owner himself, he has kids, so about of the, our ages. So it's behooves him to have such an event. It's fun. Yeah. It's cool. But then a second one opened up and decided to okay, let's go. Oh, check this one out too. It's a nice excuse to get out of the house and give the missus a break. It's like, okay, I'm going to take the savages with me. We're going to go for a walk for like an hour.
Right.
And they want to do it because it's Pokemon and all this other fun stuff. The second one was much more adult. And not in the like PG like 18 rating.
No, just intense. Like
it was just like a bunch of men like grading their cards.
Yeah.
And it was I really as we always say, like I hate to look down upon other people's hobbies, and if people like to get cards and like try to make a buck or like get joy out of trading it, like I'm not going to throw shade on it. However, like like my kids were super excited to go in and get a couple Pokemon cards and check out some of the paraphernalia, have a good time. And when we walk into the store, And it's just all these dudes haggling over the mint condition of these various cards and trying to open packs and like find something that's rare, as opposed to, hey, look at all this cool artwork, let's battle, gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, have you found that it's just now jumped the shark? Is it now this is just an adult hobby, and to the point of which you don't care to have your kids involved in it or to bring them to such a store? Like, where have you kind of landed with where we've kind of gone with this craze, this card craze?
Yeah, well, part of it I think we've talked about before is like whenever Pokemon cards arrive at some store, all the adults go in and buy it all while the kids are at school because they're doing, they're trying to get the cards, they're doing the unboxing videos, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's one aspect there. I've only been to two different like Pokemon grading stores, and the one was really good in that I think the owner had his kids there as well. But I think
Hmm.
so. I think he like puts them to work, like, oh, get these kids in on the games, right? And like look at their cards and be friends with them, whatever.
Hmm.
Anyway, nice kids. They were looking through my 14-year-old binder and whatever. But there were a lot of adults in the room in tournaments, like actual tournaments for money and cards. And then
Wow.
there's these kids. So the kids aspect helped, I think, with the
Hmm.
environment. If it were just it's adult men. It's
Yeah.
never adult women. If it was just that, I would be like, oh, mm,
Yeah.
like again, it's just a different vibe, right?
Yeah. And if anything, that's like, I mean, that might end up being dad advice here, where if your little ones are interested in Pokemon cards and they want to play or maybe even do a bit of trading, it almost behooves you, the gaming dad, to go there first
Oh,
and,
sure, yes.
get a vibe of the store. Because in our very case, there was two distinct places, and the one, and it wasn't unserious, like it had graded cards, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
However, it was just very much more, hey, this is all kid and fun stuff, like come on in, let's get together. And the other
right.
one is like, this is a business, you open cards this way, and I got a grading pack, and it like just sucked all the fun out of the pack. So of the two stores is one that I would take them back to. So I suppose this turns into advice for dads. uh, Scope out your local store to catch the vibe and see if it's something you want to participate in.
Yeah, it's funny because of all the adults probably went to that first store with all the kids and like,
Just like, no, look at all these like juniors. No one's taking this seriously. Come on.
yeah, yeah. So no, that fits both audiences, but yeah, scope out the place like you would any other like almost like when you scope out like a play place or like a birthday party for your
Hmm.
kid, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this atmosphere is okay,
Yeah, it's this is the vibe I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, gaming dads out there, do you have your own experiences with gaming cards, stores, or your own advice when starting to introduce your kids to this? Reach out. Hit us up at newdadgaming.com or on any of the socials at newdadgaming. Now, speaking of father child vibes, you yourself got into a heck of a game. I was amazed with this. Is one of those scenarios where I am excited to record the show
Hmm.
because we don't necessarily coordinate on our social posts. And I started to see from our channel, it's like, well, just a little bit of father child time playing a little bit of gaming. And I could not believe what you guys had dipped into. Why don't you walk us through the game that you and your kid had picked up this week?
Yeah, so against all of my advice to our audience,
Of course.
right, with pre-ordering and just getting into gaming before the actual game launches, my 11-year-old really enjoys Diablo, Diablo 3 specifically. I think I've talked
Hmm.
about that on the show before, and we've kind of like searched for that game again. Diablo 4 wasn't really quite doing it for us. So I just kept my eyes open, and one of those games was Path of Exile 2. And again, I think I mentioned, it can be overwhelming for new players. There's a lot out there. It's also early access, so the full game's not even out yet.
So it's a pre-order. It's a hyper-violent game. It's
Yeah,
it's early access. Just you're hitting all the boxes here, bud.
right? So, gaming dad hat on. I'm like, it'd be really good bonding time. And I
It's
know
like,
they'd really enjoy it, and it is really like well polished even at this state. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. I downloaded it and we had a great time hopping into this thing.
hmm,
It is absolutely like gory. So like
Hmm.
if you don't let your kid play Diablo 3, do not let them play this game. It is again just hyper violent, but they're monsters and stuff. So far, I don't know about later in the game. I will report back on that if we get that far. But one of the things that I've always talked about this game is that the skill tree is insane. It is 10 times the sphere grid of Final Fantasy X.
Just madness.
And totally overwhelming. But once you get into it, okay, like again, giving that advice because I wasn't going to touch this game. I was like, no way, not dealing with that, nothing. Once you get into the skill tree, you realize that all those are passive abilities. So the actual abilities and like cool things that you do in the game, you pick up, and they come in like uncut gems. You pick up these gems, and then you put them into kind of the thing that you want. So I'm doing a sorceress, so I have, I want lightning bolts. I put that gem into my lightning bolt thing, and now I got lightning bolts. So the skill tree is all about passive stuff to boost it. So it's not totally overwhelming. You're not like completely going to miss out on something cool. So that kind of like settled me down a little bit. Like you could go off in this path. Yeah, right. And you're like, yeah, that's it. But no, my 11-year-old and I have been having a blast so far. We bought it on PS5, so you don't need PS Plus. It is like $35 to get in. It will go free to play end of next year is their target. So what's there now is, I want to say like 66% of the game. Like they got 3 of the 6 acts out. They got 6 of the 12 classes out, but all of it is polished, right? It's not like you're running through walls or whatever. Like it is a pristine game. It could launch now, and I think people would be happy with it. But there's just more coming. So
which seems more like it seems more like a content play than a gameplay thing. I'm sure they're going to tweak it, of course, but mostly it's like it is. It's all, the foundation is there, and it's going to be more about the rest of the content. Going in.
Yeah.
Geez, so it is so unabashedly Diablo.
It really is. Like I think you should take a look at this game because you're like, I wonder if I could get into it.
There's something about like the pricing of it is buck wild. Absolutely buck wild. I could not believe I knew something to do with Path of Exile. I think the first one is actually free, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the model that they already had.
Yep.
So then I heard that this was 35, and you're like, okay, well, I guess it's just, they want a little bit of money for the game, but it is for the privilege to get in early and play the unfinished version of the game. You are paying so you could get into the unfinished version before the free version comes out. That is buck damn wild, man. Like it's just I'm trying to process.
I know
it makes sense. Like it's basically just saying, hey, look, we have a lot to finish. This ain't ready. If you want to get in on this before everybody else, you're going to pay to skip the line, and then everyone else is going to get it for free.
I don't understand it myself.
I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it.
I mean, they put it out there. They're like, hey, this is the price to get in. We were putting out this awesome trailer. All this stuff is here. You want in? By all means. It will, like, very transparent and upfront. Like, it will go free to play. So they're not hiding that part, right?
Yeah.
They're like, you wait a year, everything's going to be there. But you want in now with FOMO. You jump in now and like you can have some fun, right?
Yeah.
And so I fell for it. I will say, just playing with a kid or playing with a teen, if gaming dads are out there, they have 2 inventories on the screen. So one can be organizing their stuff and the other can play, and your player follows them. And it's so good. I love it so much because Diablo 3, it would just pause your game and you'd be in the inventory and you'd be like, oh my God, please stop.
Yeah, just like I would like to play the game. And after every single drop, we've all played that player where it's like, it's you're level 20, but it's like this level 2 hammer. It's like, oh, let me just get my inventory. It's like, stop going in there. We have things to do. There's so many tasks. Please.
Yes.
Oh, so yeah, it's just how it's an opportunity to raise a better gamer. It's like, no.
So.
My child, come here. Let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
To be a good gamer, you don't break the flow of a co-op session, my child.
Right.
Please.
No more pause buttons, please. So no, this is totally like active. Like you can play to your heart content, and my 11-year-old can be organizing their inventory and picking
Yeah.
their skill slots.
So this had come across my radar. It looked very cool. I really did enjoy Diablo 4. Had a wonderful time with it. But now it would be end state, and I just don't know what to do with that sort of thing. So this might be a pickup. I think you and I might be diving in for a dad's night of gaming inside Path of Exile 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. And then I can boost my character and then show my 11-year-old, be like, look what I did.
Look what happened to me, except I'm really bad at gaming, so you're
Yeah,
probably not going to get a lot of benefits.
That's
You have
probably
to carry
right.
me. Yeah, say gaming dad, you diving into Path of Exile 2? If so, reach out. We might be able to get a dad's night of gaming going on, or help each other boost each other's characters in this game. Speaking of boost, the way you do so when you drive is you drive really close. You got a draft, you see.
Yes.
So you get right behind that car, follow them up, and then you do the Days of Thunder, where you keep going on the inside, and then the final turn, outside and rip around, baby.
Yes.
Actually, as an aside, did you see the real life NASCAR move that a real life driver pulled off of a game, did it in real life and then immediately it got banned? Did you hear about this?
Is that the one where they ride the wall and they slingshot out?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I'm like, that's totally legitimate. What are you talking about?
So gaming dads, if you have not had the pleasure yet, search NASCAR game move in real life. And there was once a NASCAR driver who was way in the back of the pack, and he decided to pull off a move that he had played in a NASCAR game in his youth, and sped as fast as possible into the final curve, slammed himself against the wall to stabilize, and just whipped around it and ended up coming up to third place.
It's just a cheat code in real life. What does it matter? Like, it's just a strategy.
Horrifically dangerous.
Totally.
So it was the first and last time it was ever done. And in the interview later, he's like, yeah, I used to do that with my brother when I was playing back in NASCAR on the PlayStation.
I mean, there you respawn. In life, not so much. I don't know.
The first and last time. So, folks, it's worth checking out. This is all to say that it seems as though you have decided to dip into Gran Turismo 7 at the behest of a member of your family. What happened here, bud? Why are you driving so fast again?
I'm very easily swayed when I'm cheered on. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, there's a game. Which one?
Exactly.
Your credit card is in your hand already, ready to go.
I'm ready to go. It's already in my cart. But yeah, this was when I was playing. So they released a demo for Gran Turismo 7. It's called My First Gran Turismo, which sounds like, here's your training wheels, come and earn some cars and test out the game, which absolutely worked, Trevor. Because
genius.
Yeah, you go through that game, you earn 15 cars that you get to carry over into the full version. So I was playing this thing, and my 11-year-old was watching. They're like, honest to God, like, wow, just look at these environments. Like, the graphics are really well done, and you're doing so well in this race. I want to see more. And I am totally manipulated.
The second he said you're doing so well.
Well, cheering me on. And I realized it was probably like to avoid bedtime. I'm just watching Dad play some races, so let me just be here with them.
I'm just bonding.
Yeah, I totally said to myself, you know what? It is a really well-developed game, and the environments do look gorgeous. I am going to purchase the full game because it has been on my wish list for a while, and it is currently on discount. So I am now racing around in Gran Turismo 7 to my heart's content. And I've always played Gran Turismo. If you have in the past, you'll love this one. It's something that, like, go play the demo and just see if it's for you. And we've always talked about how demos are so great.
Absolutely.
Again, can't really commit to a lot of the money all the time with everything else. So release some free demos and you'll get your kids to be like, hey, that looks like a great game.
What's this? It's a demo for dad. It's a demo for kid. It's like, are we going to? How's the family feel about this one, guys? Is this a purchase? Are we going to do this?
Right. And a genre change from like the bloodthirsty Path of Exile into like just calm, adrenaline pumping racing, and not slamming into walls.
Yeah. It's fantastic. So it is cool. Like I always will have fond memories. I think one of the worst parts for me would be working my way up, saving money, trying to get like the better, like cooler car that I wanted,
Yeah.
and driving some beat up thing, but I maxed it out to awesome brakes and awesome engines and things like that.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you finally get the new cool car. It's like, this is amazing. And it's so slow.
Yes.
It's just the worst compared to like this little garbage box square that you had been driving for ages because you souped it
Yeah.
up. And it's the absolute wildest roller coaster ride. The expectation, the drive. I can't wait to get this awesome big car, and then just catapulted into the floor. Whereas I dropped into the floor as it's like, this car sucks. Like all
Yeah.
the work was for nothing.
Totally similar experience. Like I would just juice up a Golf, like a
Oh yeah.
Volkswagen Golf, and that thing would fly. And then I'd be like, yeah, I finally got this like top end Mercedes. I'm like, what is with this? It's super slow. I can't go around corners. Like,
But
so
that's awesome. So it got back into it. Now the real question will be is if you're able to resist the siren song of a PSVR 2.
it's
Because I've
calling. It's getting
because
louder.
I'm a huge proponent of VR. I absolutely adore my Quest 3 headset. That was a great upgrade using it daily, legitimately. Like really liked it.
Yeah.
And but I do not know that there is a better match as far as like driving racing sims go than Gran Turismo 7 and the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Because like you see it, it's not just like, oh, this is a pretty cool experience. Like it is raved about. Right. So it almost it's probably about the cheapest and best performing. It's the best cost to performance ratio of a driving sim you can probably get. I feel
I'm
pretty
just
good about
taking
saying that.
notes for when I
It's-
talk to my wife about
Is that convincing? Is that an impassioned plea with good
I
sound reasoning?
I think it's a good business case, and I could make that case to Santa. I'd be like, listen, Santa,
Listen, there's so many uses.
right? Like, why not? Like, I'm sure you've got your VR racing game like ready to go. So I'm just
Mhm.
saying, if I hop in here, you can
There.
hop into yours.
Now, speaking of that, there are a few games that I have played in VR for racing. Some middling success. I will say the best VR racing experience I've had is still on my PSVR. So back like the first version with the PSVR,
Okay.
PS4. I don't even remember. It was like a launch time. It's from Sony. It was like I think it might have been called Cars or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't Gran Turismo. But it was just fantastic. You had your controller, PlayStation controller, and tilted it. The
Oh,
steer.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just great. It was really well put together for some reason. And still, to as far as let me hop in for a quick race, it was one of my favorite like driving experiences.
Okay.
The ones with the Quest 3 doing a PC like pass through PC
Yep.
VR is good, but it tends to be fairly condensed in the sense that it's a track or it's kind of like an open environment, but like it's the warehouse and it has like 3 or 4 things.
Right.
But what I've just discovered before, as we were going live, is that one of those experiences that is quite good called Assetto Corsa.
Yes.
I am
Yeah.
probably butchering that pronunciation, by the way. I think it's Italian. Assetto Corsa. I'll pronounce it that way,
You had to
please.
say with the Mario voice.
I desperately am trying not to. Like we have some listeners in Italy, and I do not
They can let
care.
us know. They can let us know if our accent's off.
As deep lovers of Mario and Luigi, we're not going to insult the culture.
That's right.
But as this was just announced quite recently, and apparently it's an open world PC VR game. So what that would introduce is it's the larger world, a la like Horizon 5 or like Horizon 5, which just like drive around the world and then you can get yourself into a race. Now I hope I'm not misunderstanding it because the thought of having a VR experience with a open world racing game like a Horizon 5 would be phenomenal.
That would
I'm a
be
little
cool.
seeing seeing the footage as we're talking. I am a little bit worried about how serious it'll be.
Mm,
Like if it's very because I don't like sim racing. because
This is
driving
a
actual
sim,
cars.
though.
Just, I like being able to take a jump with a car, and cars don't jump. Like it doesn't work out for you, right?
Right. What was that open world game? Was it? It wasn't Need for Speed Burnout, was it? No, that's the crashing one.
Oh, Overdrive.
Is that what it was? Where it was open world and you could just like roll up next to someone and basically like rev your
Yeah,
engine,
hold
and
on.
all of a sudden you're in an online race. Like,
Open world driving game. Jeez, PS2.
I want to say PS2. I think I actually have it behind me here. I think I saved it.
Okay, we're gonna both Google thing really quickly.
I mean, it
Might be
had, do you know what I mean?
PS3.
Like it almost looked like a Miami kind of silhouette on the front, like teal. I'm gonna
That's
find it
Expedition.
later.
Okay.
It's gonna bug
Oh,
me.
we're finding it now. No, we're doing this. Is it? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna like. There it is. Paradise. Burnout Paradise.
Yes. Okay.
It was
Thank
a
you.
Burnout
Oof.
series.
Yes.
God, that game was fantastic.
Yeah.
That game was so amazing. Something like that.
I think
That
that's
would be,
what you need. Yeah.
except for the flipping. That's gonna
Well,
make me
yes.
sick. But yeah, that was just, this game was stunning. I have it on my Steam list. I have revisited it a few times because it is
Oh,
just
yeah.
so much fun. The Burnout series was so fantastic. It's really a shame that's kind of gone away.
Yeah. But
Not
I
sure
think the one you're looking at is very well, as far as I remember it, very sim.
yes.
So you might need a wheel. I'm just saying you need the tools and equipment to operate this properly. Again, creating that business case for you. That's all I'm doing.
I can't, man. Like the problem with being an adult, Jeff. I'm just going to let you know so when you arrive. The
Right.
problem with being an adult, Jeff, is the cost of ownership starts to weigh on you.
Yeah.
Because immediately, because I would say that the thought of owning a wheel, owning a chair, and then you have the headset on, like just what heaven that would be. Like that's fantastic.
Right.
But the reality of it is in a house with 2 kids,
Yes.
that's already a recipe for disaster. But just the amount of stuff we have and an ability to find a place that it could just innocuously sit and not be a horrific burden to the entire family does not currently exist. I think it is probably something where it's like the kids go away to college, and in order to compensate a little bit, you turn their room into a driving sim room.
Okay, there's a goal. Yeah, or
Right.
vision. Right.
But yeah, I will say, I literally had this thought. There's a massive giveaway. I think it ended up being in the States only, but the giveaway is a full racing sim, like the ones we're seeing on screen, where it is a motion chair.
Right.
So it's a chair that tilts based on the driving, screens, the steering wheel, the entire 9 yards, right? It's like a $40,000 racing sim. And my literal first dad thought was, where on earth am I going to put it? where can I put this? Where in my house would I possibly store this sim racing? It's not how cool would this be? How much fun am I going to have? It's like, oh, I don't know if that's practical for the current amount of space we have.
Well, yeah, because you're getting out of like all the kids' toys. You're like, oh man, I'm finally getting like my rooms back. And you're like, but I kind of want this thing. And it would take up all the room. And it would be another toy.
Yeah, tell you what, kids, you're no longer allowed in the basement. This is not
Yeah.
a driving zone.
You've had it for a number of years. I mean, 10 years, we're going to call it. It's back to dad.
Back to time. Dad time now. Oh. Anyways, folks. Hey, if you are a gaming dad with a VR sim or just a racing sim, is that kind of your bag? Is there a particular game like this that you're looking forward to? Any and all reasons above, would absolutely love to hear from you. Reach out to us, newdadgaming.com, or on all the socials at newdadgaming. But with that, I do hope you reach out because we will wrap up the show here for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you did like the show, you can find us on all the major podcasting networks, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Caster, anywhere where you find podcasts. Just search for New Dad Gaming. If you do find us on one of those platforms, something that helps immensely with the show is if you can go ahead and subscribe, leave a rating, and leave a comment. Helps boost the signal out to as many racing gaming dads as possible, as many gaming dads who play Path of Exile 2, anything and all the above. So dad supporting dads would really appreciate that. And again, if you do reach out, adore hearing from you. The stories we receive each week from gaming dads, heartwarming. Great to meet up with you folks. And like I said, we can now do some sim racing. Maybe we do a little Path of Exile boosting to one another.
That's right.
However it goes. Again, at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I'll be hanging out in the skill tree in Path of Exile too.
Wasn't sure which way you're going to go. It's going to be driving. I'll see you in the cockpit, or
I
I'll see you
was
at the
going to
starting
go.
line.
You know me too well. Yeah, exactly.
But you threw me a curve. I thought you were going racing, but you pulled it back to Exile. I appreciate that. Remember, everybody, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.
All right. See you next week.
See you later.